Wait, Apo, we had an unholy talk. We have to ask the unholy question. Who you voted for?
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Welcome back to Unholy Talks. It has been a while.
It's
It
been a
has
while.
been a while. We've had a rough year.
Yeah, we survived the war.
We did. One of us did.
Well,
And then we survived the pandemic. We're vaccinated, right?
far,
We're all
yeah.
double tapped
yeah,
in this small studio.
we survived
Thanks
an
to
election.
BB.
Thanks to BB.
Yeah, very much
We're
so.
surviving what?
Survived an election. It's
We're
the fourth
surviving
election.
elections.
We're surviving.
We're
Thank
enduring.
Exactly. Natan, maybe introduce yourself and how to say your last name. I can't pronounce your last name.
Odenheimer.
Exactly. It's
Odenheimer. You're
Odenheimer.
German.
Indeed.
You're German, right?
My grandfather was.
Then,
Allah yarhamu.
Allah yarhamu.
then as a German, tell us what the hell is going on with these Israeli elections?
My name is Natan. I'll introduce myself. I've been doing a thing called the State of Jerusalem in the past 4 years.
Medinat al-Quds.
Dawlat
Dawlat
al-Quds.
Oh, Dawlat
Dawlat
al-Quds.
al-Quds.
صح,
Yeah,
صح.
as if we don't have enough states.
It's going to be a good one, you know.
Holy one for sure.
Unholy one. And we're doing a lot of content from Jerusalem. Our aspiration is to become something between a local newspaper and a Vox magazine sort of thing. So we produce a lot of video content. You can watch our show on Kan or Makan or our website, thestateofjerusalem.com. We also have a few episodes with that are not only with Arabic subtitles but also with narration. And some of them have English most of them also have English subtitles. So
And what's,
thestateofjerusalem.com or Medinat Yerushalayim. Yes.
okay, stop promotion now.
All right.
What's the idea of what you're trying to promote?
What am I trying to promote?
Yeah, with the state.
The one
state-
city.
The state of Jerusalem.
Not the one state.
Yeah, I mean,
Look, I think that if we look at the elections today, we see that the state of Israel is very, very, very divided. So divided that in the past 2
Yes.
years we can't we can't form a government. And we're thinking, okay, but maybe we have enough in common if we talk about the things that are local. Maybe we can not talk directly about the national problems, about the big issues. Enlistment to the army for Charedim and Chilonim, ultra-Orthodox and secular people. Not talk about should the West Bank be part of a one-state solution, two-state solution, a four-state solution, anything. And we talk about locality. We talk about the issues that bothers us all living in this city. We're also talking about, okay, what does it mean to look at this place through the eyes of Jerusalemites? So that's basically what I was trying to promote.
That's a good.
Good pitch.
Yeah,
Decent
it was a
pitch.
very good pitch.
Okay.
Now, can we jump into the elections?
Yeah, let's talk about elections.
Let's talk about the elections. What the hell is going on? People from East Jerusalem, many of whom do not have the right to vote, probably have come to a point where they're like, you know what, Ahsan, man, 4 times, man. 4 times they can't they can't get their shit straightened out. What the hell is going on out
Full-time
there?
employment to be a citizen now in Israel. Like you have to go on election every 3-4 months.
It is a full-time employee. You're right. It is.
It's exactly the opposite mirror from the Palestinian Authority that didn't have election for 13 years, 14 years.
Yeah, we're not talking about the Palestinian election.
I'm just
We're
saying,
talking about
just
the
saying,
election.
just saying,
We
just
will-
saying.
That's on next week's show. That's on next week's show.
And if you recall that the municipality election in Israel, we didn't have only one round, we have 2 in Jerusalem in these past 2 years. So if you're a Jerusalemite, you had 6 opportunities to vote this past year, which is definitely more than what you experience in 4 years usually,
Sure.
or 10 years sometimes. So what the fuck is going on? Are we allowed to
You're allowed to curse.
Yes,
You want
that's a
the curse?
kosher one.
Okay, good. We're very divided.
But what? You had like 49 parties running for election? This
50.
time? 50.
50. No, I'm just kidding.
No, something like
49
this. 40
registered
something.
parties. It doesn't mean that they actually had a platform. Doesn't mean about a year and a half ago, I met with a friend of mine. It was after the second election. We're going through the third, and I told him, "What do you think is going to happen?" He said, "Not only we're going to have a 4th election, we're going to have a 5th election." And I was like, "Dude, fuck off." You know.
Yeah, but he's right now.
But he's right now, right? So I asked him why. So first off, I think that the first important point is that we're divided. Okay, we're very, very divided. There's one very, very strong leader
Who's vaccinating us?
who's vaccinating the shit out of us, and he is he's very good in making deals. We'll talk about the deals that he can do now. He's very good in campaigning. He's very good at making deals, and he's on trial, right? Do I need to elaborate? He's on trial.
Yeah,
He's being tried. I mean,
the three
you
cases.
talked about the election. You can't talk about the election without talking about the trial. Why? Why are we in the fourth election? So we're in the fourth election because he's up for trial.
Because he wants a majority to pass a resolution on immunity for the prime minister. No, that's the gist.
There's many ways for a prime minister who's up for trial to avoid trial.
One of them is to run for elections.
Run for them is to run for elections repeatedly. So and so that's a main reason that
But
we're
it's worrying. It's worrying because the people don't have choice. I mean, clearly people have been participating in these elections, but clearly as if there is no choice. It's the same thing, same results. I don't know what we're waiting for. I mean, if there's a fifth election, what is different going to be? I mean,
it's a good question. I think a friend of mine wrote on Facebook that Bibi is a huge loser. He's competing against no one for the fourth time now. He still can't win, which is a funny and sad way to look at it.
I've never thought about that.
On the one hand, you have the right, broadly speaking, you have the right, which is mostly Masoutim, Mizrahi who vote Likud, and Ashkenazim, Yemanim.
To translate that's traditional Masrati, traditional Mizrahi bloc.
And Ashkenazim, Yemanim who vote traditionally
right-wing
for
Ashkenazim.
Bibi. Both vote for Bibi. You have the Haredim.
Ultra-Orthodox.
The Ultra-Orthodox.
I'm translating.
They're part of the bloc. And you have
Mansour Abbas.
And you have we'll get to that, I'm sure. And you have the hardcore right wing of the settlers.
The Chardelim, it's a new word that I learned. Yeah,
Chardelim, ultra orthodox, national,
Zionist.
And those are like what, 80%, 90% of the population of the country?
Half of the population, less than half of the
half
population.
of the population.
Half of the
the right
power, but they're probably more than that.
I don't know, but they will be. They're not. If they were, they vote in much higher percentages.
Yeah, they're very committed voters.
They vote higher than the left wingers, or whatever the left is.
Look, if there are people in the world, they understood the power of democracy, are the Haredim, and if the Arab 48ers in Israel, when they voted together, Palestinians in Israel,
Allah, Motini.
That's how they refer to themselves anyway. So.
Some do, some don't. Some find it offensive to be called Palestinian, some don't. I mean, there's a variety
people
here.
can comment.
Mansour Abbas, what does he identify as? No, seriously, what does Mansour Abbas identify?
He's Muslim Brotherhood.
Yeah, he doesn't care about nationality. He's the Ummah.
Ummah.
Yeah, he's the Ummah.
No, but we can talk 4 hours about that. But when you had the joint list, they got more seats.
Sure.
And they had more power. So that's one thing that I think is important to remember. By the way, Meretz, your party, right?
Because they stand with the Armenians, just to be clear for the audience.
Is this show now promoting Meretz?
I don't know. You just pointed out Meretz.
Have to pay
no,
for us anyway.
One for a second, I'm not promoting them at all. So they've been saying, vote for us, because otherwise it's going to have 61 seats. Obviously, Bibi, right? If you had resigned and say no, we want to contribute to the he would sure not have, right? If they would not have run, so why are you asking me to vote for you when you would not be able to do the brave and courageous act of giving up your seat, so actually to contribute to the bloc? So they didn't do that. So organization, order, working together, this is something that part. The other thing is that the anti-Bibi bloc is really divided. We're talking about Lieberman, we're talking about Naftali Bennett, we're talking about Gidon Saar, we're talking about Nitzan Horowitz, we're talking about Merav Michaeli, people that are just like
they wouldn't share a
water.
beer together. They probably wouldn't share a beer. Yeah, you're right. But that's the problem with opposition around the world, right? Every time you look at an opposition movement opposing the government, some sort of way,
they're fragmented.
They're very fragmented, and it takes them like 20 years, 10 years to, get together, gel around an idea. And then once they achieve that idea, that's it. Like, they're done.
I mean, it's characteristics of the left anyway to be the fragmented. But I mean, I don't know who's left in Israel. I mean, who are the left parties in Israel?
There is no left
in this election. Meretz and the joint list?
Labour Party became much more left since in the past 3 months since Merav Michaeli took charge. I mean, you can find Ibtissam Maran there, and she's been having some very radical statements about the state of Israel, and she's still the party still supports her, and she's gonna be in the Knesset.
Yeah.
And Merav Michaeli has no one is really left in terms of economy, but. This doesn't even matter because it's and I think that's an important
What
thing.
matters then? If economy matters,
it's not about ideology. It's not about vision.
Is it about the Palestinians?
yeah, because Palestine, Israel is not anywhere on the agenda really, and the economy is not on the agenda. Then
So it's
what's
literally
our
about the court case that Bibi has, the
It's about
cigars
Bibi.
that he
Bibi
smoked.
and Sarah.
Dude, it's all about cigars. He smoked 3 cigars in a submarine while talking to Wallah News and telling them to be nice to them. That's just...
To be nice. Otherwise, he's not going to give them a cigar.
Look, it's about it's about power. It's about who controls the budget, right? So Haredim, obviously, it's obvious what they want. They want the share of the cake. Always same thing. They want the share of the cake.
But doesn't Mansour Abbas also want a piece of the cake now? Isn't that his whole... Because the guy got votes. He has five seats. The joint list has 6.
Yeah, but
That's
Muslim parties will always get votes when they run because, it's like the Khardim. It's just, they get orders.
You were
voice
saying
of
something
God,
about
they go just vote.
when we were in the kitchen. What were you
I
going to say?
think that if anyone would think that the right wing in Israel would be in the hands of the Muslim Brotherhood like this,
This is maybe our...
This is Zionism's worst nightmare.
or wettest dream, I don't know.
Is he the deal breaker? Possibly he is now.
Yeah, and it's a complicated negotiation. But if there's and I think that this is something that is important to say. If there's something that we've seen from Bibi in the past 10, 20 years, he says he's a really good negotiator. And
Do you think he might do let's not...
He has not been negotiated a good deal with the Palestinians, though, but he's a good negotiator, you're saying.
Is there a good deal to negotiate with the Palestinians?
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm going to be the referee here.
Based on the two-state solution.
And why should dealing a negotiation with the Palestinians would be good for Bibi? I didn't say he negotiates good deals for his citizens. For me,
good for himself.
Yeah.
Okay, that's include a lot of deceptions and lies and manipulations.
That's what makes a good.
Do you believe in the
politician?
Do you believe in the conspiracy theories that it's his wife that controls, the puppet strings or whatever?
No.
No, it's only him.
Is it a feminist thing to be like that?
I don't know. It's a feminist that hate his wife, which to me is a bit awkward. Like I thought you guys are feminists.
The feminist thing is not.
So why do you hate Sarah?
Look, the moment that you have power, you have people fighting for power.
But as a young liberal Israelis, I want you to talk from your heart now for a sec. As a young,
what do you mean? I always talk from my heart.
From where was he talking?
My test.
From his head, from his mind. I want you to speak from your heart, really,
Yes.
honestly. I
Okay.
mean, are
Sure.
you, as a young Israeli liberal who live in this country,
Right.
are you worried about the future of this country and your future in this place in light of this polarization, defragmentation on the Israeli society?
Look, I'm worried for my future. It's been a tough year. So I'm definitely worried about my future. But if we're talking about political climate, then doesn't look like things are going towards a direction that will make me more hopeful or more happy. Yes, it's true.
It's worrying.
It's beyond worrying. I think
Because we're going to a 5th elections, right?
it's not only the 5th election. It's just that there's no one really that I can say, wow, this person is going to fight for what I believe in. It's going to make this place a place that I feel more connected to, and I feel like more it represents who I am, or that I have some sort of place in this country. So yeah, it is worrying. Look, I think there's a very new initiative called the Miflaga Demokratit,
The Democratic Party.
Democratic Party,
Barak Cohen.
led by Barak
Cohen.
Cohen.
Has to be a Kohen.
It has to be Cohen. An Iraqi Cohen, though. This guy's Iraqi Kurdish.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah.
Who was brought up in Jerusalem, actually in Mevaseret, I think, but now lives in Tel Aviv. Very interesting guy, and he's someone that I feel like represents things that I believe in. He's very, very radical in terms of in Israeli terms. I don't know if he's going to be able to gain the right the kind of support needed to get more power, but I believe in his path. At the same time, I'm no longer 22 or 23 that I used to believe that politicians, some of them are good, some of them are bad. I'm also ready to be disappointed too. But as far as I've been following him on social media, I know him a little tiny bit. I met him a few times. That's one thing that I can be hopeful about. Yeah. I believe his honesty, and that's rare.
He's also a musician, a punk rocker.
He does mizrah. Yeah, he's good. I think we can promote Barak Cohen. Sure. Do you know him?
No.
Not really. Before today, no.
He's an interesting guy.
He speaks Hebrew with an Arabic accent.
Ah, cool.
He's-
How does he speak Arabic with a Hebrew accent?
I don't know if he speaks Arabic. Look, Mansour Abbas doesn't represent me, doesn't represent the values that I believe in and anything like that. But he's playing the field in a very smart way. And he is, and I think that it makes people understand more and more. I think there's a big shift that's been happening in Israel in the past 5 to 10 years, seeing the difference Palestinians of Israel, Arab Israelis, as most of the population of this country calls them, are getting hechsher, becoming more kosher in the eyes of
What was
the
that
Jews.
word?
Hechsher.
Hechsher.
Yeah, becoming kosher. In the eyes of more Israel, they become more mainstream. And you can see it in many places. And I think that is a good thing. Yes, I think the good thing. I think that what we've been doing in the past few months is giving them more and more legitimacy, giving Arabs in Israel legitimacy. Now, it doesn't work for my benefit, doesn't serve my values, doesn't serve my interests as a citizen in this country, because he's not doing it for any noble reason. He's doing it to promote his 61 seats coalition. But will it have a positive byproduct? I hope so. The most likely scenario is that we're going for another round of elections. And the second more likely scenario, I think, is that the Prime Minister will be able to form a government using defects from other parties.
Yeah.
I think these are the more likely scenarios.
But it will be short-lived anyway. So
It'll be short-lived.
Which means we're going to the fifth election anyway.
At some point. And here's the most horrid thing in the whole situation, because we've been doing a talk about the Israeli elections, and we're basically talking about Benjamin Netanyahu for 85% of the time.
Yeah, that is, well,
how can we avoid it?
He
Why?
occupied the political scene in Israel for the last 20 years.
But you know what I've realized about the Israeli political scene that also speaks of lack of ideology and values? The fact that there has been personification of political parties. So if you ask, let's say, a Meretz voter, who are you going to vote for? They'll tell you, I'm going to vote for Meretz. They use the political party name, that is the name of a platform, complemented by a set of values, right? I say Meretz, you know exactly what I mean, what I stand for. When you ask other people, who are you going to vote for? They'll tell you names of people. I'm voting for Bibi.
Yeah.
I'm voting for Bennett. I'm voting for Smotrich. I'm voting for Abbas. And that to me is like, okay, so you don't know the manifesto. You're not voting for a manifesto. You're not voting for an ideology. You're not voting for... These are political parties that once you take that person out, that's it. There's no more political... So there hardly is a political party in Israel.
It's consumerism. It's much easier to sell a person than a party, and a person than ideology. And also, I think that Benjamin Netanyahu, he is our prime minister right now, but he will pass away at some point.
If
he's not here forever, despite what everyone thinks, he's not immortal.
You voted on all the previous elections. You didn't miss anyone.
Indeed.
And you will vote on the next election if there's a fifth one or sixth one.
I wasn't happy going to vote this time. I was really frustrated.
So getting stretched.
Yeah.
But you will vote for the next one if there is. Have you changed your voting patterns in the last 5
better answer that in 40 seconds.
Yes.
You did change it.
Yes.
More to the left, more to the right, more strategic, more ideological.
Look, I had 4 times to vote. You have to mix it up a little bit.
I take it you don't want to answer.
They don't answer.
No, what do you mean?
Israeli Jews don't answer.
No.